Welcome back to the channel. Hey y'all, it's Thorell. Now I know you guys are pissed at me for not getting uploads. One, I want to apologize for that. College can sometimes be a pain in my ass, but I wanted to get on a video with who's going to die and who's going to live in Avengers Doomsday. Avengers Doomsday is going to be one of the biggest films next year. I hope you guys understand it. Yes, Clayface, Supergirl, those are going to be huge. And even Mando, because I still have hope in Star Wars. Yes, I'm a delusional Star Wars fan, but no, Avengers Doomsday is going to be one of the biggest films of the year, regardless what the film is about, because everyone's already hyped for Doctor Doom, and I think they've said it's going to be something of how they shown off Endgame, so it's going to be very, quiet hype building for all the next couple of months until we get a real trailer, and you know that trailer is just going to destroy the internet. So other than that, I'm very excited, and I want to talk about predictions of who's going to live and die, because Marvel Zombies video that I did earlier last month was super huge. It's been popping. If you haven't checked it out, please be sure to go check it out. But yeah, let's get into who's going to live and die in Avengers Doomsday. And I know this is going to be sort of a little bit of cheating, but I want to start off with how we already know a couple of the projects coming before and already in the works after Doomsday and Secret Wars that kind of gives us hints to who the character that is going to likely stay out, in the MCU for the long term. And one of the first characters that comes to mind is Tom Holland's Spider-Man that has already been greenlit a 4th, 5th, and 6th movie. We got Spider-Man Brand New Day coming out right before Doomsday in 2026, and we already know he will be getting a trilogy, so it's safe to say in some form he will not die in Doomsday, and it's been told that he will have a minor role in Doomsday, and then in Secret Wars we will see Andrew and Toby. He will get the Venom suit, and it will be really interesting to see how he, is able to interact with these other Spider-Man. And we obviously have Beyond the Spider-Verse as its own little different thing, but who knows if Tom will be in a cameo in that. But I likely don't see Tom dying in the next Avengers films. I think you'll have a pivotal part of the story with, of course, Doctor Doom, given that, RDJ shares the same face. It will be very interesting to see how he interacts with that. I think a lot of people are very excited for it. Now, we also have Doctor Strange 3 and Black Panther 3. That kind of gives us also a bit of an idea that Doctor Strange and Black Panther, Shuri and a lot of the Shuri characters are likely going to survive. Because I think Ryan Coogler really made this amazing story with all these characters in Wakanda, and I don't think he's going to greenlit anyone dying in the Doomsday films and the Secret War films. Again, things can be possible. I understand that, but for me, I really do believe that they still have a big story to tell in Black Panther 3. We know Denzel Washington will be playing a character. I'm hopes that he will be playing a villain, because in Gladiator 2, he played an astounding and amazing villain, so hopefully Ryan Coogler would love to have him in that. But I think Shuri will be returning, and if Shuri, again, will be also very pivotal in that Avengers Doomsday film, and I don't think she will also die. Now, I know this is sort of, again, cheating, if you will, but we also know we have a Blade movie, and yet we haven't seen Blade. We'll get our first sort of appearance of Blade in a Marvel Zombies animated show coming out next week, but we'll get Blade with Mahershala Ali, so hopefully sometime soon. I don't know. By the time I'm 30, the movie should come out, or it's going to be a Batgirl situation. But to my knowledge, I think they are not going to actually show Blade in the Avengers Doomsday film, and they're going to save him for either Doctor Strange 3, Strange Academy, the Midnight Suns project, and of course the Blade movie. So there's that supernatural side of the MCU that we haven't yet seen yet, and hopefully we'll get to see some of those characters in these Avengers films. But at that same time, I don't see them actually dying, because they still have a huge story to tell. Again, Moon Knight, for example, I know we're only talking about confirmed characters. Moon Knight has yet to be confirmed for Avengers Doomsday, but it's already been word out the street that Season 2 will not be coming, or it might be coming one of these days, and yet he is being saved for the next phase of the MCU, which will be the Mutant Saga. So a lot of those mutants, which is a really good carryway into the mutants in the Avengers film, is just, again, very interesting to see. Now, we know we are getting tons of mutants in the Avengers Doomsday film. Now, we're getting Magneto, we're getting my boy, my legend, my man, the guy, the one and only, and I can't find the goddamn name of him. Yes, Patrick Stewart. We're getting Professor Charles Xavier back as my boy, Charles Xavier. It's going to be insane. Again, we have seen him die at this point. I think we've seen him. Did we see him? We already saw him die in Multiverse of Madness. Will we see him die again? I don't know. I don't think he will die, but there's a good chance he might. Again, I don't know what Marvel is doing with all the X-Men. It does come to say, what are they doing with Magneto? Who are they going to continue as the Beast? Or are they keeping Kelsey Grammer? Because we know that after Secret Wars, they're doing sort of a reset, not a reboot. So they're only keeping some characters, and then they're recasting some other ones, and it all comes down to how Doctor Doom and whoever the villain is, Secret Wars, will basically blow up which other multiverse or battle world or whoever gets killed in that process of the entire sort of transition into this new singular timeline. So we don't really know exactly who will be coming in as the official MCU heroes and the X-Men heroes and all that until we find out in 2027 or 2028, whenever that film comes out. But again, when it comes to Beast, Professor Charles, Xavier, Magneto, Mystique, of course, we got Nightcrawler. It comes down to just it being in the moment 50-50 chance. Again, also there's Cyclops, which my boy Scott Summers, James Marsden will be returning for, and I gotta admit, I'm really excited for that. And I better get my Channing Tatum Gambit movie, because that better come out. I swear to God, it should. Everyone knows he should be getting a movie. But when it comes to the X-Men, it's really, some characters are likely going to be able to be pushed into the next mutant saga, and they will get movies, and they will likely be put in new films. While some of them who maybe been doing it for so long might, retire off that role and go away. And that's an interesting idea when it comes to, of course, Hugh Jackman, who's been playing Wolverine, and of course Ryan Reynolds, who's been playing Deadpool. It looks like they've already started process on working on Deadpool 4. People said Deadpool and Spider-Man were out there to be in a part of another film, but Hugh Jackman has everyone, interested about, because we don't know if he's actually going to be playing it till he's 90, and people have cast said like Henry Cavill or the guy from Harry Potter as the next Wolverine. So will he die? I don't think he will actually die. I think he will be placed in that situation at the end of Secret Wars, and it probably comes down to the actor if he wants to continue doing it. Again, we might find out earlier if he actually dies, but I think they're gonna save him later on for the end of Doomsday, because we know both of them will be returning for Doomsday now. I think Ryan Reynolds posted this cryptic message of him showing that he will be a part of the next Avengers movie, and it likely is teasing for Hugh Jackman as well. Now, other characters when it comes to the Avengers are also majority-wise 50-50, but some of these characters have been playing their roles for years, and it's really unsure if they're actually going to continue. Obviously, when it comes to Thor, that is a very interesting character because, Chris Hemsworth has been playing Thor as at the very beginning of Phase 1, and he did this whole sort of farewell message a couple months ago, and then he said that was actually not a farewell. He's very excited for the future. We know Thor 5 is in the works, and it's being told that it will be with Valhalla and Hercules as the main villain, but we don't have a release date. It looks like 2028, 2029, 2030 mostly. So Thor will be around for a good amount of time. If they do that, they could also kill him off, and then the whole story is in Valhalla, so that would kind of sort of be a little bit of another cheat into this whole who lives and who dies type situation. But it's entirely possible that he could die. But again, he is apparently out there to be a part of more projects in the long run, so again, it's kind of now a bit more on the surviving chance. But when it comes to Loki, a lot of people are unsure about, because right now Loki, the god of stories, is holding the multiverse up, and Doctor Doom, in order to destroy the multiverse and create Battleworld, needs to go and kill him, or at least take his power, take his throne. So that's also a very interesting question of who is he going to be able to overcome that, and that's what I'm very interested about. I think more or less that he will likely survive Doomsday. He will be a pivotal hero against Doctor Doom, but I don't see him surviving in the long term. I think he's already filled his glorious purpose, if you will, and I could definitely see at the end of Secret Wars and this whole multiverse conflict, him laying down for the final time, for the real time, and saying goodbye to the character, because I don't think they'll actually kill Loki in another Avengers films. I think the Russos already did that, but it's entirely possible for them to do it, given his position right now in the multiverse saga. Now, when it comes to other heroes, again, one of the big heroes that a lot of people talked about is the Fantastic Four, if you will. Well, that's more or less the family that we had its first film a couple months ago. It did pretty bad, sort of at the box office. I guess you could say okay, but a lot of people actually love that movie. I really love that movie, and I don't see Marvel actually killing any of their heroes. A lot of them are very important to the Doomsday plotline, and I could see them also have a trilogy. Again, Matt Shakman has been already in the works talks to do a sequel, and it looks like they will be returning to their original dimension, and they will be doing more films with a lot of those Fantastic Four villains, like the Maker, and yeah, stuff like that. And maybe Galactus will return sometime in the future, which will be very interesting. So I could see a trilogy come out of them, and given that they've just been revealed and introduced in the MCU, I don't see them dying anytime soon, so they are on the very likely chance to survive the Doctor Doom sort of battle world situation. Now it comes to Bucky Barnes and those type of heroes, and Sam Wilson. Again, these are the two heroes that a lot of people have been talking about who are they going to be able to be in the next saga if they do survive, which again, I don't know if they will survive. I feel like it's at this point where they're maybe done with the roles. Again, Captain America, or Sam Wilson, finally got the Captain America mantle, and now he did his first film. It did okay at the box office. I don't want to put finance and box office numbers over if they should continue doing the role, but it is something to look at if they are going to continue the character. So it's one of those aspects you got to look at. I don't see Sam Wilson technically dying. I think he will be a huge leader with like his Avengers teams, and then Bucky will be obviously with the new Avengers, the Thunderbolts team, and that will also be there. But I can see both of these heroes doing either one of them doing a sacrifice in this next Avengers film. It's either one and done. I really could see Bucky Barnes die. Doctor Doom is way more powerful than both of these guys. They are not dealing with a Red Hulk situation. And yeah, so it's kind of at that point. I don't know if Sam Wilson has been, Anthony Mackie has been granted a Captain America trilogy, but it is something to look out for when it comes down to these characters. Now, when it comes to other characters like Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, I could see him definitely die. I really don't see what he could offer to the table. This is also the same with that lady from Shang-Chi. Yeah, that person. The name is just on top of my tongue, but I just can't remember her name. Some of these characters, again, I don't know like what they could be or what they could do against Doctor Doom, and if they're going to grant any more projects and be a part of them in the future long run. Of course, the mutant saga, how did the Avengers now fit into that is the real big question. But I could see Ant-Man survive in some capacity. I don't know what he is going to do, and that is something very interesting to see when the movie comes out. But when it comes to other characters like the Thunderbolts is a team that I could only see maybe Yelena, Red Guardian, or Sentry actually survive, given that Sentry is probably the most powerful out of the whole group to actually be able to fight Doomsday, or fight Doctor Doom in some way. Again, all the other characters I just think are not as powerful enough, and if Doctor Doom is getting evil variants, they are going to be completely out of the wind to beat them. So a lot of those characters are on the, let's just say, unlikely side to survive the events of this next film. But that also brings us to the very big interesting question at the very end of the movie is Doctor Doom going to survive? Is it going to be a Thanos situation where he basically wins and then he dies at the next moment? I don't know. I think it's very entirely possible that he could, but there has been talks about how he might be still returning as the character in the next saga, which would be very interesting. Is he going to play a variant? Is he going to have a variant? It is a very interesting thing to see what they're going to do when it comes to, of course, my boy RDJ and Doctor Doom and all that. Is the entire plot going to conclude, or are they going to bring in more characters? As we know, Thanos, his whole story arc is basically done, but there has been talks that King Thanos will return just for Doctor Doom to kill him. So there's, chances of variants of some of these characters coming back, which I technically don't count because they're not the main character, but that's something you have to think about if these characters will return. And I do have to say, with other characters, Namor and my boy Danny Ramita, I could see Danny, or I could see the new Falcon, and I could see Namor kind of survive, but they're kind of at a position where, again, we don't know too much of what they're going to do in the next Avengers film, so we'll see what they do. So other characters, again, I have to say, we have yet to see all the characters in the film. Again, the cast announcement for part 2 was just a whole hoax, I guess. We don't know if that's going to come out, but for what we have for all these characters, it's definitely interesting to see if they're going to survive this next film. But let me know below if you think any of these characters will be surviving in the next film. Again, let me know. Tell me why. Tell me what your favorite Marvel superhero is, because there's a lot of superheroes in here. Some of them I don't count technically as a superhero, so, but who knows? We'll see what happens in the next film. I'll see you guys next time. Love ya.